Hey Nicholas, it's Trent White from Graves Golf. Looking at the videos that you sent into the Gold program, wanted to check in on your progress and give you a couple things to work on here. I know you've been focusing a lot of your time from the lessons on that lower body from over rotating. That still needs to remain our main focus. And when it continues to happen, one of the things that you can do to try to help eliminate or fix the issues that we're seeing is to exaggerate the adjustment. So what you'll see here is we still have an over rotation of the pelvis in the backswing and an over rotation of the pelvis in the downswing. So we don't have any bracing systems or things that are helping us restrict movement. So what you'll see on the right hand side of the screen, I'm going to draw a little line on the front of your knee here. You're going to see that your trail leg locks out immediately in that takeaway, and we start to see space between the legs. That's the first indication that there's going to be over rotation, is when that trail leg locks out, because that gives your pelvis too much freedom. And when you start to see space between the legs, it's a good indication that we're going to get over rotated as well. So overall, upper body is moving pretty good. And so you've done a good job of not as rotating as much with your upper body, but that lower body is still just getting a lot of rotation on the way back and then also on the way through. You'll see that here from face on. You'll see how much this lead knee will move in that backswing and how quickly it moves in. That's another thing I'm going to talk to you about here in a second. It's moving in very abruptly. So if I start taking you to the takeaway, within just the first couple frames of this video, that knee has moved a long ways in that position. So there's been a lot of movement going on. We need to really take, for your lower body, the less is more approach. And that's what I was talking about, exaggerating it. I really want to see what it's like for you to feel like you're in a good address position, which you are, but then you just make an upper body swing. And I know that's obviously we want to use our hips, we want to use our lower body, but for you, we're overusing it, so it doesn't hurt to exaggerate and video it to see what it does, but for you to feel like you just make an arm swing, an upper body arm swing only. So you get in an address, you make a nice fold of your trail arm to the top of the swing, and you swing through from there, and you feel, the key thing is you feel that your lower body did nothing. It didn't rotate in the backswing and rotate in the downswing, and video and see what happens. And what you'll see is then you'll start seeing some dramatic change, but I guarantee you, you'll still see rotation of the pelvis in the backswing, because right now we're overdoing it, and it may be even the correct amount of rotation. Even though it felt like you've just used your arms, you will use more. That's why it's okay to exaggerate adjustments sometimes when they continue to happen. So that's what I would suggest in here, is to really start working on making nothing but an arm swing. Feel like your arms are doing the entire backswing. Let's first eliminate the over rotation in the backswing. Then we can tackle the over rotation here, where you can see that trail leg snap straight. See how it snaps straight there? So that's where we don't have any bracing here too. So we have to work on this in both swings. For you, it's going to feel like it's an arm swing back and through. But first, we definitely want to correct it in the backswing. So let me see. I'm going to pull up a face-on view, and I'll show you what I mean by that lead knee and that lower body. You're getting that rotation very quickly or very abruptly in that backswing. As soon as you start taking it back, you're going to see that lead knee just kind of snap in automatically, just a bunch of movement there. We want the less is more. I want to see very little movement. Watch how slowly his lead knee will move in on the right. Big difference, right? There's a big difference in that movement and then this movement over here. That's where we have to take that less is more approach. Try to over-exaggerate this. My goal for you would be to try to make a backswing with as little lower body movement and a downswing with as little lower body movement as you can possibly make, what that feels like. Video it and see what it looks like, because it may feel like you're not using the lower body, but I guarantee you, just based on what I'm seeing here, that you will still use the lower body, and it'll probably look closer to the model, and you'll have better breaks and better bracings in your legs so that you're not getting over-rotated back and through in that downswing. And I'll show you the through swing part of this. You'll see how everything looks just slower and more steady. It's happening as he's swinging. And then you'll just see how that trail leg or the lead leg just stays flexed. Basically no movement in that leg. It's just a brace all the way into his finish. Look how it just didn't even move through all those frames from basically position a little bit before impact all the way into impact, release, an extension. His hips are doing very, very little, and you can see how yours did a lot of movement through those frames, where that trail leg kind of snaps straight on us and allows us to get way over rotated with our body. So spend some time on that. Don't be afraid to exaggerate the adjustment. It would be great for you to actually send in a video and we'd be like, okay, we actually need a little more turn than that. So don't be afraid to over exaggerate what you're working on. Feel like you're making nothing but an arm swing. That right there will help you start feeling, okay, what it's like, what that feeling of the lower body actually needs to feel like, because right now it just has too much going on. And so it's going to be hard to be consistent with all that extra movement and extra rotation that's occurring in your lower body. So spend some time on that. Keep up the good work. Happy New Year, and we look forward to seeing more from you in 2022.